Gretta, do not start. Hey, good
Hey!
evening.
First of all, I just want to say we apologize in advance because we always start on time and there was a little technical issue. Okay. So y'all know life happens and we can't control everything, but we do our darndest to do so. So to introduce myself, my name is Nakia Franklin.
And I'm Vawn Gretta.
And welcome to this episode of The Real
And Raw Talk Show.
where there are no boundaries.
And no judgments, y'all.
All right now, sis.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to say this year has already gone by so fast. This is April 4th, 2022, right? And it's like January was just there. December 31st was just there. So much
And
has
I'm
gone
never
on.
going to forget those days ever.
Ever, right? And I'll never forget March for sure. Double time. So it's just been so much going on, but God is good because we're still here and we are here to engage with our guests and entertain our audience. And we are here to pump it up, share
Come on,
and
pump it up.
experience and expose people to great information, great people, great opportunities, and just really raw content, right? So we have so much to do, so little time in the process, and we're going to make some needed changes in the process. We're going to, as we grow and as we expand and as we evolve, there you all are going to see us take breaks because we have to take care of our health and well-being. We have done this thing over a year and a half and have not stopped. So in the coming months, we'll be sharing more and more information with you guys. So just wanted to bring that note. We're gonna have seasons, right? So y'all can miss us a little bit and then we can come back in.
Come on,
Because burnout can be a beast. And if we don't
it
practice
is
self-care,
real.
then we won't be around to entertain you guys and to bring forth amazing people such as our guest this evening. So I just wanted to also make a quick shout out to my sister Gretta for her forwarding journey towards her PhD, so we can soon call her doctor by degree in about a year or so. So she had her interview today, and I didn't want to step over that. I just wanted to really acknowledge you, sis.
Oh, you are so special.
Stepping
I
up
love
and
you,
doing
girl.
God.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Of course.
Is it my turn to talk? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
No, you're good because I'm supposed to talk about our guest for this evening, y'all. We so really raw. It is what it is, right? We have
I was doing other stuff for the show. I need like 4 or 5 assistants.
Right, we have a whole conversation. We're gonna work that out too in the name of Jesus. I got your back, girl.
But thank you, girl. I appreciate it. Just to make sure I don't throw it the wrong way, it is a doctorate, but it's an EDD, an educational leadership doctorate. That's important to state. I'm still down to earth. Y'all know what she meant. It's still the pretty little hat. I don't know.
Because
sisters take off that. They keep their hat on and they show them curves like I'm black. Pow, doctor. I'm gonna have one of them pictures, girl.
I'm all degreed up, but I said I'm done with the educational spin on all of this. Now I'll do some continuing education, baby, but I'm not going to go hardcore no more.
She's serious. I think she just finished or isn't currently one now.
No, I'm done.
She's done with it, but she did it.
I'm done. So now I'm so excited to introduce our guest for today. We're just going to talk about her and then we'll bring her in shortly. Miss Daphine Priscilla Brown-Jack of Brown-Jack Books LLC and founder and CEO of Prevention Zone, a nonprofit organization. Now, Daphine and I have dwelled in similar circles and worked together for years with the state of Texas as parole officers. So let me share a bit about her resume for some background, okay? She is a Houstonian, native Texas. She is a retired parole officer and a parole and author consultant. I had to say that slow. Private investigator. She is an actual author, okay? Inspirational speaker and podcast host of the If Emmett Was Alive Today podcast. Now, Daphine has been speaking for more than 25 years, taught 6th grade social studies, was a speaker for the Prisoners Entrepreneurship Program, aka PEP, for y'all in that arena definitely know what PEP is all about. I was a part of that program as well. And she has been a keynote speaker for Texas Voices at their annual conference. Let's just say she has so much background, so much information out there. And I'm going to tell y'all to Google her and check out her website, preventionzone.org. Okay. So today she's not only an author, but she's a CEO and founder of a criminal justice advocacy nonprofit that supports the initiatives and removes barriers, stigmas, and hardships that returning citizens, exonerated individuals, and young juvenile offenders face once released. That's why we're addressing how Daphine is imparting success through focused hope. Sis?
Double DD Fosheezy. Okay. I'm sorry. That was so. I watched Bringing Down the House. It's still in my head. I like to laugh. What can I tell you? Okay. So
watch the after party, y'all. Y'all understand.
I have a feeling it's gonna be turned up. Okay. I had the pleasure of meeting her years ago because she has such a lovely and talented daughter. Oh my gosh. But anyway, yes, Daphine, and you did that so eloquently, sis. I must tell you, you're looking extra luscious tonight.
Thank
and
you.
I do mean that word intentionally. Today, though, we're speaking about Daphine Priscilla Brown-Jack. I mean, with a name like that, you know that she's something special, such a queen.
Absolutely.
And, about her nonprofit organization, Prevention Zone, Inc., right? The mission there is to be a catalyst for prosperity through providing leadership training, professional development, and the life strategies for recently released exonerees and you just bubbling with potential, right? So their vision is to be an agent of change, destroying the school to prison pipeline daily. Now, we're going to dig deep into this program. Trust me and believe me, because I get to ask questions. And we'll know more about its essential presence for our entire population to understand that there are resources and organizations just like Prevention Zone, Inc., who's ready and eager to assist. So now it's time to get real and raw, you guys. Oh, I ain't doing it right. It's time to get real
and raw.
Oh, she's doing it. She's doing it. We're going to break her shell. Hashtag break the kid hour singing shell. Okay. No time. All right, so you know what that means. We want to hear from you, and so does Daphine. We'd like to hear from you. We want to see your comments. So if you're joining us via Facebook, please go to www.streamyard.com/Facebook to grant StreamYard access to see your comments. So stick around and post questions. You guys need to share, and start your own watch party because you know what time it is, right, sis? It's time to enter into the
no judgment zone.
Zone.
Hey, hey,
Y'all,
hey.
Nakia over there dancing.
Oh,
She
girl.
was shaking her groove thing.
You know, I be having a good time.
Get it. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We're
my
supposed to
bad.
be serious. I don't know. Is this a serious night, or do I get to clown?
I mean,
I'm
keep
really
it real,
kidding.
keep it raw. That's all I can tell you. Okay. So let's bring Daphine into the room. Hey, Daphine, come on in. Come on
Hey, how
in.
you doing?
Hey, look at this
Hey.
queen on the
You look
screen,
so
y'all.
beautiful.
What do y'all know
So
about that?
beautiful.
Say it again.
We just saying, what do they know about that? All this beauty on the screen.
I
Oh, hey,
mean,
girl. It is what it is. Okay.
Okay, they
okay.
ain't ready. They ain't ready. So, Daphne, I'm gonna jump right into the conversation with you. I
Okay.
know that your resume is an extensive resume, and so there's only so much information that I have time to share within the first 5 minutes. Like we have, like y'all have no idea. Her resume is like intense. So intense.
I just be putting all the stuff I do. I mean,
No, that's good because people need to know. That shows
yeah.
credibility. That shows your experience. That shows what you've been a part of, what you've been into, and
Yeah.
people can actually engage with you and be willing to come to you about things that are maybe unorthodox,
Right.
maybe
Right.
or not. Hey,
Right.
Robin Williams from Mayor. Okay.
Okay.
So, Daphne,
Mhm.
what do you want our audience to know about you today that is so important for them to know that I did not share, but you believe is significant and it's in your DNA to share that with the people?
Oh, that's a hard question.
Oh, ain't nothing
Um,
too hard.
you pretty much said everything when you gave the intro. So I guess at the end of the day, it's about serving people. And I think back when I was growing up and my mom, I seen her serve people. And I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be like her.
Mm.
I refuse because she be going here, she be going there, she be taking food over here, taking food over there. And it was like, that's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And she passed away in 89
Mm.
and left me here not knowing that I would be the modern day version of my mother.
Mm. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. The modern, I have to admit, as bad as I hate to admit it, because I was like, oh my God, this is what mama used to do. And so here it is. It's all about serving the people.
Right. It's in
And
your genes. And you know what? That is why what you do is so important. And that
yeah.
is why people gravitate toward you. And that is
Hmm.
why you are authentic, and people
Yeah.
can tell the difference between someone who's authentic and somebody who is just full of crap, right?
Right. Oh,
And just trying to make
absolutely.
a buck, especially
Absolutely.
in the criminal justice arena, because
Hmm.
like I know, a person with a record of who's done time or a convict or criminal or
Hmm.
those that was innocent,
Yeah.
right? But
Hmm.
went into the system because the system didn't work for them,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
They can tell the level of integrity that you have from the moment they smell you. They ain't even got to see you before you walk in the room, you know?
Uh-huh.
And they can know more about you than you know about yourself by the time
Mhm.
they get through, understanding it and just knowing your name.
Mhm.
So, and I'm going to ask you some questions. And because you are a private investigator as well, there's some things that I'm, you don't have to share. You don't have to go too deep because you
Mhm.
understand the ramifications or what it is that you feel comfortable saying or speaking on,
Absolutely.
and you don't feel
Absolutely.
comfortable with sharing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if you want to share anything about your family or anything like that, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to at all.
Mhm.
Um, and we've known each other for years, and I just want you to share a bit about yourself beyond the accolades and the credentials.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to be 60 years old on April the 14th.
Happy
Okay.
birthday.
I know, right? So that is one of the main things that I'm super, super excited about. I know us as ladies, we don't like anybody to ask our age, but you all don't understand the depth of me turning 60. My mother was 56 when she passed away.
Oh,
And
wow.
so leading up to that age, I'm just like, oh, I guess I was kind of scared.
Yeah.
But thank God I'm still here. And I told God I want to live to be 100. And so that's my first thing about me that I'm super excited about. And my family, I've been married going on 32 years. I have a older son from my husband's first marriage, not ashamed to say, and he said to me to solidify our relationship. He said, "Mom," he said, "the only difference between us is that I came out of a different birth canal." Now, how deep is
Oh,
that?
that is beautiful. That is beautiful.
I didn't think about that,
You
but
know better than that.
yeah, it can't get no better than that. So
Oh,
so that's deep. That's deep. And so he shared that. And then I was blessed to birth a daughter, Alexandria Jack. She's 31 and she does a whole bunch of stuff. She's a food writer for Houston Style Magazine, real estate agent. She's a graduate of University of Houston. Go Cougs. Now how they do it? I think it's like no, that's Longhorn. Anyway, go Cougs. Um, the oldest boy, he's a graduate of Stanford, and he
oh,
graduated in 2005. So he's been out a while. And then, of course, the middle daughter, which is Zoe
mhm.
Jack, and Vawn know her. She's my middle child, and she's a graduate of Texas Southern University. And I know, right? Go Tigers! And she's looking forward to going to law school. She's a professional singer. She has music out and she's been singing pretty a whole lot. And she's a speaker as well. She's talks on bullying and
Mm.
inspirational stuff. And she has a really good voice on her to share. And then my son, my baby, oh my God, my baby, had him at 40, not ashamed to say. He's 19. He's over in his own apartment across the street from the sports complex at University of Houston.
All
And
right.
so he's majoring in biology and wants to be a veterinarian. And so every one of us have our own niche, and each one of us, because I'd be like, y'all need to help me do this and help me do it. But they have their own stuff that they have to do. And so I wind up learning how to do stuff on my own, working the Facebook and the social media stuff. And so had to
A
had to
lot.
learn, build a website and all that stuff, because everybody have their own things that they do. So we're in it for the win. We all work together. I can depend on mom, but mama, I don't want. I say, well, I need your help. Come on, we a family. We need some
That's
help.
right.
And so I usually can depend on them to really help me
Awesome.
out.
And I
Yeah.
know that uh your is it your oldest daughter that's a part of Prevention Zone, right?
Yes, the oldest one. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a family owned business, in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah,
And it's important to have support of your children and
absolutely.
your family in general whenever you're doing anything, because
Absolutely.
we've had
Absolutely.
conversations about that, Vawn and I. When your family don't support or don't believe in what it is that you're doing, you just have to keep it moving. And
Right.
they want to get on the bandwagon and really support you later on after they done seen you that
Hmm.
made it big and was able to produce. That's
Hmm.
okay. Leave them where they at. So
Right.
for
Right.
those that want to ride with you and roll with you, just tell them,
Hmm.
come on and let's do
Yeah.
the doggone thing.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
by the end of this show, what would you like the audience to get and to know about you or
Um,
Prevention Zone?
Yeah, well, Prevention Zone, what we're doing is providing resources for the exonerees and children with incarcerated parents, and I'll talk on that some more. And we have a youth group called Young People Gathering, and so the thing that I want the people to know is that we are out here serving, and we just had a big fundraiser few weeks ago, and being just being supportive of people who are trying to do things in the community. And I'm not the one, we need money, but it's a nonprofit. So that's how it operates, on donations and the giving from the people. And we're looking for grant writers, people who can donate their service now and to come in to assist. And so that would be the takeaway for people who are listening.
Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Mhm.
So I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate your authenticity and your sharing that you've shared thus far. And I know that we can talk about so much more about your background, your experience, all of that. And I'm going to take it over to Vawn in just a second. We're going to go into an intermission and have just a musical break. And then we're going to come back, and Vawn is going to take over the conversation and lead the charge into getting deeper about what it is that you do and the significance of what it is that you do. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Vawn?
I moved faster when I was younger. Like, what is she gonna do? Okay.
Y'all know it's too late to laugh. Girls, too late to laugh this all. Y'all,
because you're gonna be up all night long with us. Okay. You're gonna be up.
I'm putting it together. It's been a long day. My mind has been spent. I talk about it in the after the party show. So I get the pleasure of introducing someone we've seen before. The second time we saw him on the show, we played his first performance a second time because I got a lot of feedback on how much they enjoyed hearing his beautiful melodies. But Eddie Spencer is a phenomenal jazz saxophonist, a great person, awesome friend, frat brother from Grambling State University's world famed Tiger Marching Band. You got to say the whole thing like Pimp Ain't Slip Back. And we see what you want. Okay, so please, guys, enjoy. And you know what? This rendition of this song, Long As I Live, I really do think is beautiful, but he'll introduce it to you. Okay, we'll be back.
Hello, Real and Raw family. My name is Eddie Spencer. I'm a jazz saxophonist, and you are about to watch a video of Long As I Live, Tony Braxton cover from my album, Always. You can follow me on Facebook, Eddie Spencer, ELS Jazz on Instagram, or website, elsjazz.com. You can find this music on Spotify, Pandora, all streaming platforms, as well as Apple Music and Amazon. I hope you enjoy this, so sit back, relax, and I hope it blesses you.
way.
I just want to say I felt a little that a little rock the boat, rock
Mhm.
in.
Yeah, that is in there. Good ear. Good ear.
Mhm.
Good eye. I hear that too. That would be a great segue if you wanted to kind of fuse two songs together. I remember Edwin, our music producer for the show, he said we were doing Quiet Storm, and then we went into I Won't Pretend from Sade, you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It was such a smooth. I did not hear that. He heard it. I gotta blame it on him. It was such a beautiful transition. It was really
Mhm.
but anyway, I see some comments and y'all, I promise I'm gonna put them up there. But now I just want to get Daphine talking some more about all of the work she does. She's so great at everything she does, and I'm gonna probably make some gumbo, meaning I'm gonna throw everything in the kitchen in the pot, but it's gonna taste good.
Okay.
Oh, first, thank you so much for being so transparent and honest and just open on this platform to share with us.
Mhm.
We really
Mhm.
appreciate you. And we know you founded Prevention Zone Inc. in 2016. And
Yes.
the initial purpose was motivating and keeping young boys at a certain age, which I'll let you talk about,
Mhm.
including your son focused on positive things, which you touched on. I just want to know what made you say, I'm going in? What made you say, I'm doing it right now?
Yeah. Well, let me do this interjection kind of sidebar. My
Okay.
husband donates to Prevention Zone every month from
Mhm.
day one. He has a recurring, so I have his support as well.
Mhm.
So I
That's
wanted to,
beautiful.
yeah, I wanted to share that, kind of a shout out to him, because if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have a whole lot of stuff, if that makes sense. And
Amen.
so, yes, yes. So, I got started with Prevention Zone, and I have a young son at the time, and they're in the family, the mom and dad, and everything is good, and but we went through a few things early on prior to. And I'm thinking, everybody's looking at us like, oh, look at the Jack family. They look so happy. But
Mhm.
we had things going on.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to get him and his friends who similar family backgrounds. So he had some friends with a strong single parent. And so we were kind of village raising these kids, and we wanted to make sure they were on the straight and narrow. And so I told my son, I said, we're going to get with you and your friends and their parents, and we're going to start meeting and telling you all about the criminal justice system,
Amen.
telling you all about how to stay focused. You on a good path. And my son, no, I'm zero tolerance. So, and he was a good soul. His mom is crazy. So, but he was,
Gotta be.
yeah, yeah. So he very, very good kid. I didn't have any problems with him. I'm so grateful for that. But the focus was on him, and so we started meeting with his friends, and the parents would come, and we had a judge to come in to talk to him, had an attorney to come in. We had people who have finished college, young people who have finished college, getting ready to go to pilot school, and just had these
Mhm.
people to come in periodically. And we did something really funny with them one year. When I
Mhm.
told my son, I said, and it was the Christmas holidays. I said, so for the holidays, I want y'all, we're going to go and play bingo with the senior citizen. My son was like, what? I don't want to play no bingo with no citizens.
That's some fun stuff. Missing out.
I
Senior
mean, really?
citizens, that's the ones to hang out with. Forget the young folk.
Right, right.
It's a whole comedy show.
Being young kids, they be like, we don't want to be with no old people, whatever, whatever. So I told them, I said, you all are doing it. I said, and after we finish, we're going to go to Dave and Buster's, and we got that sponsored by someone. And so everybody met. It was about 7 of them,
Mhm.
and we got there, and the program person set everything up, and the little people, they were in their wheelchairs and on their walker, and they came in and they sat down. And so the kids started calling out the numbers, B10. And somebody said, what you say? What you say? So it turned out to be really
Oh.
fun. And my son had to admit, Mama, I really had a good time.
See there? Exactly. I'm glad that he did say that to you though, because
Yeah,
sometimes they hang on to their
right.
distaste. It's like,
Yes,
doggone well you enjoying yourself. Get your mind
right.
together. Stop
Yeah,
cutting up.
he said it was really fun, and the elderly people had a good time with them. And one of them said, "You need to speak up, son. We can't hear you." And so they had a good time. And then we went on to Dave and Buster's, and they had a
Uh-huh.
real day. They ate and played games and everything. So those are the kind of things that we wanted to do with
Hmm.
them to keep them focused and staying positive and not to sway, because it's easy to do bad. Bad is like right there. Do I do good or do I do bad? And so some of us, we choose to do bad over good.
Daphine. So
Uh-huh.
then you would say, we clearly hear that you believe in this work and this organization that you've created, and I
Mhm.
know we need this. So
Yes.
what have you seen or experienced that made you say, okay, this is the vision for Prevention Zone,
Mhm.
outside of the fact that we all can say at a general level, I would say, and
Mhm.
forgive me if that's presumptuous,
No
at a
worries.
general level that we need this work. But specifically, what is it that helped you get the vision put together for this work, Prevention Zone Inc.?
Yeah. Well, like I said, it started with my son, and then we started incorporating the other youth. And
Okay.
then we start chiming into, you have youth who have parents who have gone to prison, start seeing that. And then I was thinking, oh, wow, we need to tap into children with incarcerated parents. They
So
need
it
help
so
too.
it kind of the organization and thereof kind of grew as you got into doing the work then.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And so then how did you meet these troubled youth or traumatized children? Clearly, because nobody grows up. I used to tell my kids that nobody grows up saying I want to be that.
Right,
They want to be this, even if they
right.
don't know the path, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
able to say troubled. I just wanted to put that out there. It may just be
absolutely.
trauma.
Yes,
So
yes.
what did you just was it just your son's friends, or did you have teacher people or church, or how did you end up starting to meet the youth to design your organization?
Well, so it kind of started, honestly, taking it back during the parole time. So you
Okay.
already seeing the parents who have been incarcerated. These men and women have children and everything. So I'm already seeing this. And TDCJ has a program that they had out for the kids, because the parents are locked up and everything. So
Hmm.
this was something that was already foundation. And so as time passed, I got to thinking, well, there are children with incarcerated parents. And
True.
so just so happened I have a principal friend, and I got to talking with her. And so I just asked her the question. I said, do you have kids at your school that have incarcerated? She said, oh my God. In the area I'm in, it's a big percentage of them there. And
Mm.
so everything just kind of fell in place. And one of the board members say, well, I have this lady, she's had the children with incarcerated parents organization. I said, really? And she told me her name is Marilyn Gambrell, and this was early on. And so I got to thinking, I said, well, I need to meet this lady. So my children with incarcerated parent program, it was stagnated. It was there. And I was trying to figure out, we need to put together a curriculum. We were already using the positive youth development program with the young people gathering. That's the name of the group with my son. And so fast forward, time passed. I got the opportunity to finally meet Marilyn.
Okay.
And I would say she is the mother of children of incarcerated parents. And this is a program
Wow.
that's over 20 some years. And I say over 20, it's maybe almost 30 years. But over
Hmm.
20 some years, she started this organization called No More Victims. And she focused only on children with incarcerated parents. Sometimes it's one parent, sometimes it's both parents that are
Hmm.
in prison. And was a parole officer, Nakia. She
Is that
started
right?
She started out. Matter of fact, she has a movie that's called Against All Odds, the Marilyn Gambrell story, Against All Odds. And I'm doing
I
a big
remember
old
her name. I remember
yeah.
her.
You know,
Uh-huh.
and for those who don't know why Daphine pointed out Nakia for that moment, just again, that's just joining us. She spent many years as a parole officer.
Yes.
I actually called her a number of times for a situation I saw with children, which isn't her thing, but she had the resource,
Right.
you know, in order
Exactly.
to connect me where I needed to go. So
Mhm.
then, okay, so Daphine, would you then say, being the person that can see so many incarcerated parents, right? Do you think that, or would you agree with the statement that our Black men and youth are, of minority boys in general, are said minority and I hate that word minority,
Yeah,
are
I hear
targeted?
you.
Do you think that they're targeted to begin their path to prison as a result? Can you speak to
Absolutely.
that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. With it being that way, with everything happening, like my son, he's in his apartment and everything,
Mhm.
and he called one evening. It was like almost 10 o'clock. He said, "Mom, I'm coming over." Well, he was talking with my husband, and he said, "I'm coming over to the house because I have to pick up something." And all I heard my husband say, "No, no, we're gonna bring it to you." What does that mean? That
Wow.
we would not want to take a chance
Yeah.
on our Black son. I mean, randomly, it would be straight shot. Just come on 610 and come on down and get here to the house and pick up and go on back to work. What are the chances of something happening? So many parents, and my heart goes out to the parents who have been faced with situations. And we actually had a situation in our own family not long ago where our cousin was killed, Black man, 20 years old, just getting started. And it's just out
It's
there to
paralyzing,
happen.
isn't it?
Yeah, and all we can do to keep the worry down is to tell God to protect them.
Mhm.
That's
Yep,
all we can do.
we've had the Pocket USA on here. I'm giving Brian, it's Brian, right? A shout out. We've had several law enforcement, Commander Carolita Johnson,
Chief Finner.
Chief Troy Finner,
Mhm.
and we've had Betty. Thank you.
Shabazz.
Baz.
Oh yeah.
Shabazz.
Speak and you know, this is Nakia's house in Wilhart. Not to mention Terrence Coffey, who y'all certainly we should
Prisoner
continue.
Pipeline,
Okay.
advocate, prevention, just
Okay.
the coffee, Terrence Coffee, Coffee Time talk show. I mean podcast, and
Right.
I'm definitely connecting you all because
Definitely.
Absolutely.
and
He's
Absolutely.
in New York, Daphine.
the advocacy is
He's
real,
in New York.
right?
Mhm.
And
Oh
he
yeah.
works with the
Okay.
legislature for changes, so he speaks in front of Congress.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
previously incarcerated. So if you go back and watch the episode, our first episode with him on there, Terrence Coffey,
I want to say it was last year, maybe around this time.
around this
sort
time
of.
last year, yeah, you will hear his entire story that he shared with us there and how it all began with him being a child. Okay.
Oh wow.
And he shared some stuff on there that he had never shared with anybody ever before. And he shared it on our episode. And then he's come on since then once or twice. And then we'll be getting him back on again, more than likely before this year's up. So we'll see, because we're working on some stuff. So
Okay.
But I brought that up with the intention of saying, you know, there's a common ground here. And what I hear is that people aren't listening to the youth. They're just not, and they're not creating an environment of listening.
Right.
You know, so when you start listening to them after, and I'm not talking about the things that they hide, because you know kids will do that, but later you go, where did this come from? It was always there. And so I really do appreciate, and some people miss, and this is not me throwing a jab at any parents or any said guardians. I would never do that, because we're busy doing the best we can. Some things are gross and ill placed that I'm not giving certain people a pass.
Right.
I'm not doing that at all. You know who you are. I'm talking about the people who are doing their doggone best every day. And then, you know, but those people typically are listening at some point to their kids. But the common thing I'm hearing is a lack of acknowledgement and presence. and then you just try to figure it out as a child, and you go wayward. And if you don't have the parents there in place, then you already are struggling, whether you know how to verbalize that or not. I find that seems. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to ask Daphine if she, and you can pause to hear what she has to say. But the thought is, can you speak to the intimate conversations that you had, not specific details, but the things that you have found to be commonality with these. Common with these. Thank you. I'm saying it, but it don't sound right in my ear. Common with these doggone babies. Common babies. You know what I mean?
Too funny. Yeah. So I can only speak from a personal experience.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, while raising my kids, being the girl back in the day who didn't want to have children, who didn't want to be married, I got all of the above. So, you know, I'm going to be stern either way it go. And so with my kids growing up, we would once a week, I would have the days where we would do a backpack check. You have to be like all up in your children's life.
All up in their business.
I mean, all up in their business. And my children can attest. All right, backpack check tonight. And so they bring their backpacks and I go through it. Of course, I'm going to find some homework my son didn't turn in or whatever. Zoe will have some. She haven't. Zoe, what is this? And then the oldest one. And so we would do this. It would be on random days. And then we didn't do the TV upstairs. We didn't have a TV upstairs. So they had to come downstairs to watch the TV. I put the parental deal on the remote so they couldn't watch everything. So some people say, well, you just sheltering. No, I'm teaching my children what they can and cannot do. Now,
you're setting healthy boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries so that they know that is not illegal. It's not an enemy. It's a friend.
Exactly. So that's what I did with my kids. Now, are they typical kids? Yes, they are. But we get complimented so much, and I'd be like, y'all just don't know them children bad. But the people, they'll let us know, y'all did a good job with your children, and this, that, and the other. And y'all children, this. I'd be like, y'all just don't know. But that's saying that when they're out, people can see
where
their upbringing come from.
Exactly.
They were not taught now, and don't get me wrong, with some people feel like how a kid should respond. I didn't teach my children to say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir, and no, ma'am. To me, that's kind of slavery thing, but y'all forgive me. Anybody who
Daphine, I'm for real when I tell you I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But to overcome it as it comes, but then I resolved I'm gonna go ahead and tell them because it's seen out in the world like that, right? But I did break it down to them. I said, look, I'm asking you to do this.
Yes.
Because it's perceived as a great form of respect out in the world, but understand this is how I think about it.
Right.
And I'm the same way. I really am.
Yeah. That's how, and so I told them they had to say yes.
Exactly. You can get that in your spirit.
Not yeah.
Right.
We're doing yes. And so it would be times as they were growing up and everything, one of them would say, oh, yeah. I said, excuse me? Yes.
They know better.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Right. They're older now, you know, so I've did my part. And that's another part parents have to realize when you done your part, you done done your part. So
that's what this brother said right here.
Mr. Alfredo.
Yes, Alfredo. Hey, Alfredo.
Parents' role is to survive and thrive in the type of society we live in. Adolescents' role is to learn how to survive and thrive in the types of society they live in before leaving the home. I appreciate you, Mr. Alfredo. You're going to have to come back, chime in, and we might have to get you in, friend.
You know, he was one of the
real.
honorees. Yeah.
For real.
He's one of the honorees.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But I did have one question, sis. I wanted to ask
Okay.
Daphine.
I do as well.
For interrupting you earlier, but I didn't want to lose it. I had to write it down.
So you apologize for interrupting me earlier or now?
Oh, wait, Jesus.
Did you see how nice?
Girl, don't make me cut you.
Real?
I'm trying to show y'all that Nakia can get raw too, because she's so.
Look, I'm a sweet one. I'm a good one. But you don't cross the ones that you don't need to cross. Just be mindful of who you're messing with.
Don't
That's
let
all I'm
this
saying.
fool you.
So, sis, you better tell them purple hair, girl. Purple hair. We don't say that.
What's that bracelet I have that says purple ladies rarely we're imperfect and whatever, we make history.
So Daphine, I wanted to ask you, and I was apologizing for interrupting you earlier when you was trying to get your thoughts out, but we've had 2 years, and me and my son actually had a conversation tonight, which was really important and impactful, which brought to the statements that you were talking about regarding having that relationship and engaging and training them up and being there for them. And Vawn's comment on listening, being attentive, paying attention to what your kids are saying, because sometimes you miss out on stuff, right? And I asked myself, dude, why you been going to sleep early the past several days? What's going on? And so just getting into his mind, and as a youth, and he's 16, but they don't always open up, they don't always talk. And as much as I'm in his business, I don't tell him I'm gonna do a backpack check. I just go do it. I'm not gonna forewarn nothing. I'm in your bathroom. I'm all up in your business. My house, I'm in your business, and I'm gonna find out what the hell going on.
That's right.
Because I'll cut you, put your ass out. Either way it go, I'm gonna be all up in your business.
All right.
Point blank. Period. So. Beyond that,
yes, so violent.
You funny one,
baby. That's raw.
How the past couple of years the kids have been isolated, and he was like, mommy, it's just a routine, and I've been in GT classes or these advanced classes since he was like in 5th or 6th grade. He's like, mommy, I don't have any freedom. I don't have the ability to get out and do anything different. Everything is just a constant routine. The only thing that's different is I might have an A day and a B day. Because there's times when I have an A day and an A day. I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to class. I'm waking up. I'm going to school. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I'm coming home. TV isn't interesting to me anymore. Games, I got games to play, but I don't want to play the games. And it's like, I want to get a job. I need a car so I can have transportation to get to and from. I don't want to ask you for money. I want my own money. I want to be able to do things that I want to do and need to do, but say, Mom, can I go with my friends, or can I go here, go there, and can I come back at a certain time? He's like, Mommy, I don't have that. And I said, everything that you're saying is valid. Everything that you're saying is true. And I want you to understand it is perfectly okay. I want you to also know that you're not the only person that feel like that. Not just kids in your age bracket or age, group, but also understand adults are feeling the same way. He said, well, Mama, you go to work, but there's something different that you get to go out and do, and you engage with different people. But mine is a routine, and it's the same, and it's been going on for so long. So these kids are impacted, right? So that's the backstory of it to bring it forward. These kids are impacted by the isolation, by the routine, right? So what are you experiencing with the youth with Prevention Zone that have had to go through these past 2 years as well? And then I'm gonna have Vawn ask you about the Circle of Excellence.
Okay.
No, Susan, why don't you go ahead and take over, baby? You got it.
Oh, okay. Okay, my bad.
Okay. Is she all right, Van?
Oh yeah.
She good? Oh, okay.
She good.
Okay. But anyway, to answer your question, because I was able to experience my son having to be isolated during that time. And so I would check on him, see what's going on. He stayed upstairs all the time, making sure he's doing his homework. And as you stated, you had to be up in their business more so. Now, but you're hearing the kids now, the suicide rate is higher. It has gone up. So what is it that the parents are missing and not catching? It's all about being visible, listening, as Vawn said earlier. Hear what the kids are saying, talk to them, see what's going on, and just communicate, because this stuff is real. As we are feeling a certain way, I remember when it all got started, I was scared to go outside. Now you could imagine what a child is feeling like. With me being an adult, just scared to go outside, I would send my husband out there to go to the store when we were able to open up to go to the stores, because it was like I didn't want to. It was almost like a movie. It was like this is unreal, and I had to catch myself, because I'm starting to think some kind of way, like, well, maybe if something what's going to happen. I was kind of thinking a little crazy. And so you can imagine what the kids are going through. That's why it's so important. I believe in folks going to therapy. As Black people, you'd be like, well, I'm gonna go to therapy. What's wrong? You crazy? No, it's all right to go to therapy. That's what they're trained to do, to talk to someone that don't know anything about you. Now, don't get me wrong, with the Christian counseling, that's a beautiful thing. But I suggest taking it to a regular counselor, someone who might not include a scripture, because sometimes they don't be wanting to hear about a scripture. They just want to hear some real talk, some reality talk about what's going on. Tell me how you're feeling. And if it's anything else, you might have to take medication or whatever the case may be, but make sure that you are able to communicate with that child and just keep up with what's going on with them. Just stay in their life. That's the best I can put it,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can't
Thank
think
you
of
so
any
much.
other way.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we wanted to ask you to talk about your book, and wants you to talk about the Circle of Excellence. So I know we have just a short amount of time left, but we want to definitely talk about that. So talk to us about your book first, then go into Circle of Excellence, please.
Okay. I appreciate that. So while working at parole and just being that good old parole officer, and looking forward to moving up the corporate ladder and just being a unit supervisor, and wanted to be a hearing officer, and just I wanted to do 20 years at parole. And so I learned so much, and learned so much about my guys who were on parole. It's almost like, and I would tell them, like, my foot is 1 foot out of the prison door. So I didn't find myself any better than them. I'm just on this side and made good choices, and you over there who made bad choices. And so and I would treat them like they were humans, because you just never know where you might be in life. And I say that because the fact that I treated those guys like humans, and didn't know 5 years down the road that I would be faced with the criminal justice system with a family member. No clue. No idea. And so while going through it and getting educated, just because I was a parole officer, I didn't know everything. I didn't know about going to get a bond and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know all of that. And so I had to learn that. And I said, thinking one day, just having a moment, I said, a lot of people don't know how to do or what to do when their loved one get in trouble or something come up. And so at that time, I'm thinking, I'm gonna write something. I think I'm gonna write a book. And I was like, I ain't writing no book telling folks my business. And so, but then the thought, as the time passed, and then we finally got to everything was over, not guilty verdict and all of that. And I kept a whole collaboration of notes and stuff like that. And so I was able to put together a book, sharing with the people how I dealt with the criminal justice system with the loved one. Being a parole officer, being, as I put initially, law enforcement officer, because I didn't want a conflict stating I'm a parole officer and everything. I was very mindful of that, and so, but I talked about how I dealt with the system, with the loved one, and how I was able to overcome persevere. Just accepting how it is, being able to not worry so much, because if it's stuff that you don't have control over, what can you do about it? Nothing. You can't do nothing about it. Because I recall going to the courts, and I just wanted everything to be over. And in my mind, I would say, dismiss, 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 dismiss. Then here we go with a new court date. Wouldn't dismiss this time. So I went through all of that, and I had to learn to be content in the state I was in. And once I made myself content, you know what I started doing? Because we had to go every month, take my vacation day. I started fixing myself up, putting my little eyeliner and little eyelashes on, or mascara or whatever, some lip stuff. Had to go to court looking good. Okay, next court date, we'll go out to lunch. When I started having lunch, I made myself content. And before it was all over, said and done. And so in my book, I try to encourage people, and I left it generic so it can help anybody. And it's not detailed with anything in there that would, cause a friction, but I left it to where you can see my car was repoed. We almost lost our house, but God, there was always a good situation where it was looking so bad. Ask me what I drive now. I'm not going to tell you. Y'all, can you imagine? Okay. I got something that I wanted. Okay. From a repo car to a 2021 vehicle, SUV. Okay. All right. Okay. So what the devil meant for bad, God turned it around for my good.
Amen.
And if the situation hadn't come up, guess what? I wouldn't be here chatting with you all. I wouldn't be able to have a story to share. So God does things so that we can have a story to share for someone else who need help.
Awesome. You know what, Daphine? You just okay. So we got less than 5 minutes, and you just transitioned that perfectly. So I just want you to tell us about the
Circle of Excellence.
Circle of Excellence, yes. And then we're gonna get your contact information, how people can reach out to you, how people can support you and donate, and all of that. Give them your website, phone number, whatever. Not your phone number, that people could be.
I have a business line.
Okay, and then we're gonna go from there, and then we're gonna get ready to close this bad baby out. Vawn is gonna say something. I'm gonna say something. Then we're gonna go to the after show, after party at 10:15. Just refresh your screen so y'all can be with Slappy Payne, and there's the information on the screen also. So Vawn got you covered.
Yeah, there it
is. But that's my sister. She be on it. Go ahead,
baby. Yes, go get out.
Okay. So tell us about the Circle of Excellence.
So the Circle of Excellence, this is the little brochure of the program and everything. Let me see, we had everybody. So this was an event that was for people who have made an impact in the criminal justice system. And we had 14 honorees. We had honorees like Alfredo was on. He received the Student Advocate Awards. Then we had Dr. Amma Allen. She was the Public Servants Award. And then we had Dr. Jermaine Johnson. He was the Criminal Justice Educator. We had the Mental Health Person. We had, who else we had? Isaiah Curry. Yeah. And all I can do is look on here. We had, this one was super, super special. David Atwood. He was a man that has been part of the criminal justice reform for 30 years. He left his oil and gas business to reach out to help, to be an impact in criminal justice reform. And so when I suggested the award to him, he said, he's 82 years old, by the way. He said, I've never been honored. And, that melted my heart. And I was I was so excited. Carlos Wallace, mentor. We had nonprofit organization. Marilyn Gambrell, we had an award for her. Christopher Scott, exonerees. He was exonerated, was locked up for over 16 years. And so now he's out in the community helping people who have been wrongfully convicted. And we had Mayor Sylvester Turner, Percy Kennedy, Judge Ramona Franklin. I think I named Lloyd Parker, and I think I did Erica Anderson. So we had all of those people we honored, and now people are saying we don't have that. So guess what? Get back Oscars, get back Grammys. Criminal Justice Awards is coming. Okay.
All right.
So it's going to be bigger and better next year.
Awesome. Well, you count me in, count Vawn
Yes.
in. I'm sure. Look, I'm speaking on her behalf. Look,
Hey.
count us in.
Yes.
And I talked to you about things that is yet to come, and you and I have been in this arena for so long together.
Ma'am.
It has been a true honor and a pleasure having you on this platform this evening.
I'm so excited. Y'all make me feel so good.
Awesome. Well, we take pride in taking care of our guests.
Yes,
and we want to make sure that that we leave you with a taste in your mouth to going forward, that any platform that you're on, if they're not treating you equivalent or better than, then they need to rethink their process.
Yes.
So is there any final thoughts, call to action that you would like to say? We're about 5 seconds before we have to get off of here.
5 seconds. Go out and support Prevention Zone, PreventionZoneInc.org. And I appreciate everyone who chimed in and heard me and gave all the good comments. I am so honored to be here.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for tuning in with the Real and Raw Talk Show. My name is Nakia Franklin, and
I am Vawn Gretta.
Well, there is no judgment
and absolutely no boundaries.
Yes, God.
Just log off and refresh your screen. Come back at 10:15 with these.
Did you see Daphine's face though? Magic. Good night, everybody.
My screen. I'll be back.
We have a good time. We have a good time.
Okay,
Thank y'all for joining.
You gotta do that too.
And we'll bring you in on that too. We don't play.
If you want.
Okay.
You won't? Okay. Nakia will send you a link. Everybody, just refresh at 10:15 then, so she coming back.
Okay.
Okay, good night.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Real and Raw Talk Show with Nakia Franklin and Vawn Gretta. Remember to like and follow us on all social media platforms. A special thanks to our guests, sponsors, and audience members. We are grateful for your support of our programming. If you would like to become a guest or sponsor one of our shows, please email us at info.realrawtalkshow@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. This has been a Vawn Gretta Studios production where we are creating without limits in association with Social Integration, specializing in socially integrated programs and services. The views and opinions expressed on the show do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Real and Raw Talk Show with Nakia Franklin and Vawn Gretta. Any content provided are opinions and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, anyone, or anything. Stay connected and join us for our next conversation on first and third Monday of every month, where there are no boundaries and no judgments.
And raw and raw.